to a GIC talk in a long time. I miss loving you and hope everyone has been well. Before today's talk begins, please turn off your cell phone or set them to the silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation. Did you know there is a Gwangju Drawing class on the second floor of the GIC? What do you think about artist talent? Do you think it is innate or an acquired talent? Today's speaker, Mariya Haponenko, will share her opinion about this topic. She will also provide some information about the Gwangju Drawing class. Let's welcome her with a big round of applause.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Hi. My name is Mariya Haponenko. I'll give you a short introduction about myself. Oh. No worries, this happens all the time. So I can talk now. So I live in Gwangju. I teach in Pamyang Subuk Junghakyo. I'm an English teacher. And I am originally from Toronto, Canada. You guys are so fascinated. So, the agenda. So today's agenda, I'm going to talk about who we are, meaning who I am. Why are we doing this? So this presentation is about the art classes at the GIC every Saturday. And I'm going to tell you why I want to do this, why I started this, what we do in the classroom, so you get a sense of what's going on every week. And the big one, the importance of art in the Gwangju community, especially in our community. Our future goals and the GIC Kids Art Camp, which is the drawing classes for the younger kids that I started a week ago. So intro, I'm from Canada. I have a degree in interior design from Ryerson University in Toronto. I went to an arts high school for 4 years. I've been drawing since I could hold a pen, which I think was 4 years old. I started off with drawing on family portraits all over the walls, and since then on I couldn't stop. I'm a very passionate and emerging artist. I've had many art shows in Toronto, in Ukraine, which is the country I'm originally from. In Korean is Ukraina, if you know. And I've had recently, I did a show in Seoul. And I do painting, mainly oil painting. And I am hoping to build a strong arts community within Gwangju and neighboring towns and cities. So I want to encourage people from Naju, from Mokpo, from Hwasun to come to Gwangju and do these classes every week, no matter what age. So, why drawing classes? Why do I do this? I want to give people an opportunity to develop their artistic skills. What I think, I don't think you're necessarily born with a talent for art or for singing or for playing different instruments. I think that you are born with a very strong interest. When you're a little kid, you're just interested in doing something. Whether it's playing soccer, drawing, or singing, and you do it so much that it becomes a practice, and you don't know that you're practicing it. And then, boom, you're like 12, you're 20, and you're so good at it because you've been practicing all your life. So I don't think there's a such thing as like, oh, you're so talented, you were born with a talent. You were born with an interest that you developed over many years. So that's my philosophy on art. I want people to come to these classes to find a hidden talent or interest. Many people think they can't draw, or they might not have a hobby or an interest, but they have to try this. They have to try many different things. Try, playing a sport, try playing the violin, try drawing. Maybe you actually have an interest for it. Maybe you're really good at it. You just never tried it. And the older we get, the less we want to do things that are out of our comfort zone. And it's a whole thing about, being embarrassed, or if you're not good at it, you'll feel embarrassed. But you have to start somewhere. So that's why I want people to join, to find a hidden talent or interest. This is a big one. This is something personally for me as well. I want to offer people an outlet. So an outlet meaning you have some emotional struggles or some stress. Art is a great way to release what's inside out onto paper. Art is used in therapy. Art is therapeutic, and it's a great way to realize your imagination and make it a reality. So I want people to get an outlet out of this. And the big one also is connect like-minded individuals. When you have a community or a group, whether it's a sewing group, an art group, a music group, you're with people who have the same interest as you. They are very like-minded, and they can connect better. They have more things in common to share ideas, talk, even collaborate, work together. So these drawing classes definitely gather a large group of people that think alike, which is great. And I want to create a strong art community that Gwangju so desperately needs. Gwangju is a city of art. I mean, we have the huge Gwangju Biennale going on right now. The reason I started these classes, I'll tell you. When I came to Korea 1 year ago, I wanted to do still life drawings. So nude models, still life, fruits, whatever. And I just couldn't find that. I messaged people, are there any drawing classes? Where can I go to draw? And I couldn't find anything in Gwangju. And as a foreigner, that's even more difficult because I didn't have the language. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start something on my own, which is a huge risk, it's a huge step, it's a long process. And I was lucky enough to get in contact with Joey, who helped me through this whole process. He gave me a space at the GIC, and that's how it all started. And then people started coming. So this is my mission. Okay, now I have a video for you. I want to show you of a few participants and their reasons of why they come to my classes.
Well, first off, I didn't know that they were available, and second, I honestly needed an outlet. By profession, I am an artist, but it's always nice to have a community to reach out to and create and explore.
I decided to take these classes because my degree was art. I'm a sculpting major, but I do draw and I do all sorts of mediums. And I sort of wanted a group to get introduced to and to kind of work with, because working by myself as an artist is not as, what's the word, motivating. It helps motivate me to keep working.
I decided to take these classes because I love to draw, but I guess I had an artist block for the past 2 years. And I saw them pop up and I was like, I need to go. So I came and it was very wonderful.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut it off at the moment. Okay, I'll give you an overview. So this is when, where, how, what, why. Yeah, so when, The classes are every Saturday at 2:15. The reason it's at 2:15 is because before that class I do the kids' art classes, which I will talk about later. So it's a 2 hour and 45 minutes class, which is a pretty long time to draw. It's in room 4 at the GIC. So the fee. The fee is 5,000 won for a regular class for the 3 hours, and it's 10,000 won for the nude model class. We do have male and female nude models coming in, both foreign and Korean, which is very difficult to find in Gwangju. I used to have models come from Seoul, but that's just too much of a commute. So I've actually contacted a few people in Gwangju, and the fee directly goes for the materials that I purchase for the class and the people use. So this is a voluntary drawing class. I don't take any of the money, I gather it and I use it to pay the model and for materials. What to bring? If you have been doing art for a while, then you can bring your own materials that you're comfortable working with, and sketchbooks are encouraged. We supply various materials as well. Who? Any age is welcome. The majority of the people that come are teachers or students at Chosun or Cheongam University. And it's 17 plus for nude model classes. And it's 17 plus. I say that because that is the age I started drawing nude models in high school. At age 16, we were too young, so 17 at the art school, they said it was okay. Experience doesn't matter, and don't say you can't draw, because everyone can draw. All you need is paper, some drawing tools, and willingness to explore your hidden talent. One comment Jen Lee made. Jen Lee is, she draws the comics for the Gwangju News, and she's an illustrator. She comes to some of my classes as well. She said that the classes are great for both beginners and more experienced artists who are looking to solidify basic and necessary foundations. And at the same time, there is always something new to learn. Doesn't matter your experience. Like, I stress this so much. Anyone can draw, anyone can come. And I'm there to help you, and we all help each other. Everyone in my class has a lot of knowledge of different techniques and the ways you can draw things. So we're all here to help. This is in the studio. I'll give you a glimpse with photos what we actually do in the studio. So I instruct drawing exercises and cover basic drawing principles and techniques, such as shading, anatomy, and I offer people to explore different mediums as well, not just pencils. We're going to use watercolor soon, charcoal, conte, ink, different kinds of graphite. So I always want to push people to use different mediums. And there's formal and informal drawing. Formal, I'm saying, meaning as an instructed, like I'll give you an exercise to do for a few minutes and we do it. And informal is just, I set up a still life and let you go at it to draw however you want it, using your own style. I also encourage developing your own style. And also, we have informal discussions where we will teach each other how to draw different ways and share our knowledge in drawing. What we do, beginner to advanced, like I said, we offer drawing materials to all, such as I have drawing boards, sketch paper of different thicknesses, different sizes, pencils, various HB pencils, or B or H, erasers, conte and charcoal, just to name a few. These are the basics. You should start with these if you want to start drawing. We do, every week I try to do themed still life. So this was last week's still life. As you can see, it was organics and texture. So that's what we tried to capture. Some broken wine bottles. So the whole idea is not to draw everything. You pick your focus of interest. Whatever you think is the most interesting composition, I encourage you to draw it. We turn the table around. There's different perspectives you can draw from. So this was one of the themes we did last week. So we do organic, we do different textures. Monochromatic, we did 1 week where it was all different shades of white and gray. So you had to sketch that. Reflective objects, such as metal and glass. Also, this is what many people come for, the male and female nude models. And the reason I do this is because there's a big importance in knowing anatomy. If you know how to draw the human figure, it's easier to sketch real life when you're outside in the city or on the subway, you're sketching people. And it gives you a good sense on perspective and composition. So knowing anatomy is very important if you're an artist. It's like, for example, if you don't know anatomy, it's like you're trying to bake a cake without the ingredients. If you don't know anatomy and you try to draw a person, it will not look proportionate. It'll look very amateur. So anatomy is, I think, very important to learn as an artist. I mean, there's people all around you. Why not start with the basics? You have hands, you have feet. It's the easiest way to practice. I started practicing by drawing my hands and focusing on the detail. I would get my sister to like pose and I would draw her structure, you know, the skeleton. So it's very important for proportion and perspective. So, we have, like again I said, an informal setup that lets participants teach each other and share ideas and techniques. It's a little bit dark, I guess, to see, but this is a regular setup. We had 8 people come that day, and we huddle around a still life display with a light. We have some natural light, some artificial light. We share materials, we draw, we talk, we share ideas, and usually by the 3 hours, on average, we may produce around 5 drawings. 2 maybe rough ones and 3 really good ones. So every day you get to come home with some good drawings. Comments. So one of the participants is Kelly Grilling, and I wanted her to comment on the class. She said, "The class forces me to put pen to paper and lets me do so in a fun way. It's the thing that keeps me going right now," which is a great quote, I think. She has been coming to my classes religiously, and she even told me she's improved a lot. Ashley Kluber, she says, "I really like this class because it's a really great way to do things as a community. And it's so important to have options for communities." And I think this is a big thing. When you come to, as a foreigner, when you come to Korea, you don't really have much. You're not part of anything. So this community of an interest, whether you're in a poetry class or doing a drawing class, you're part of something and you get to make friends and talk to people. So for foreigners, this is really important. It's also a really good opportunity for people to try something with absolutely no pressure. There's no pressure, there's no criticism, and you can do whatever you want pretty much. That's the freedom, that's the great part about drawing. There's so much freedom of expression. Robin Morgan is another participant that comes, and she says, "What I like about this is that I get to share this hobby with people I probably would have never met otherwise. There's no pressure or judgment, and it's fun." And it is really fun. There's a lot of laughs and a lot of talking. Art and community. So, art is important in a community, I think, because it creates a place of belonging, like I previously mentioned. You belong to something. You are part of something. There's something to look forward to every Saturday. You have an appointment to come to this place and do something productive and produce beautiful work, which I think is very meaningful in people's lives. Arts and community. There's an importance of connection and networking. So there's a lot of networking that can spark collaboration and even art shows or ideas for a new project. So networking is very important with like-minded people. And share ideas and promote collaborations. Two brains are better than one. So right here we have Andy Warhol, the famous Andy Warhol, and we have Jean-Michel Basquiat. And they both lived in New York, and Andy kind of discovered Jean-Michel. He used to be a bum in New York, but he produced some pretty awesome artwork. And they decided to collaborate, and they created amazing work together. And they were part of an arts community. So I think, being part of an art community is very important, and who knows what kind of work you can create together. Art is a vehicle of expressing the inexpressible. It's a vehicle of expressing things that you can't through words, you can't through poetry, writing, body language. It's something that you can only do on paper or on canvas. It's a different kind of language. So for example, this is a very famous Picasso piece. It's called Guernica, and it's about the Spanish Civil War, when the Germans dropped the bombs on the town of Guernica in Spain. And it's very emotional and it's giant. The scale of this is huge, and some people who have seen it in real life have shed tears, and it really touched them. So sometimes writing or poetry or speaking can't do this, and you can only express it through art. That's why I think it's important. It's a different kind of language. This is Frida Kahlo. If you are unfamiliar with her, she was a Mexican artist, and she got in a terrible accident where it left her bedridden for most of her life. And a lot of her paintings are displaying her pain and how much she suffered. And she was married to a husband who always had mistresses and cheated on her, but he was always in her life. So she had a very rocky life. It was very up and down, and you can see that through all of her work. And it's another vehicle of expression for her. Artist influence and enriching the community through art. And I think another reason why it's important in the community is that as a community, we can do a lot of art projects and a lot of art collaborations for the community. And we want people to know that we're here, we're in Gwangju. If they need any type of artists, they can contact us. We want to make a footprint in the Gwangju community. So, why art is important? You can hear it from some of the participants.
Art is important in the community because there are many people who do art, whether they see it as a hobby or whether they see it as a professional thing, like with me and my degree. There's a lot of people who use it as an outlet, or they use it as sort of just for fun and their professional business or whatever. So I think it's important to support a community where there are people like that, because there are people who want to learn or want to do it, and without classes or without a group of people supporting different activities and different events even, alongside classes, like without that you have a whole group of people not able to do the things that they want to do. We have different groups like the Gwangju tabletop players, we have different hiking groups, biking groups, but not a very strong art community. And I think this will definitely get one started if not supported.
I think art is important everywhere you go. You should have an art program everywhere that allows people to express themselves. And I think it's even even more important in Korea because when foreigners come to Korea, you have to become a part of something. You come here with nothing, and you have to join a community and make friends. And I think art is a really wonderful way to do that. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be a great artist and wonderful. You just need to draw. And I think that it adds wonderful, wonderful things to the community.
Why is art in a community important? Why do you think?
Well, it's all about self-expression. English and mathematics are pushed heavily here, but not the arts. And it's critical because there is a place for that. And I think that we can help create that.
Future goals. So the drawing classes started in July. It's still fairly a little baby, it's developing, it's in the process. And we do have some future goals that we want to reach for the classes. So we want to start working on individual or collaborative projects. So this, instead of, currently, there's people coming every week and doing their own drawings. But in the future, we want to make larger projects where people can collaborate and work together for maybe several weeks to complete something large scale. We want to put on an art exhibit. We can do that maybe at the GIC or maybe rent out a place on Art Street. After we get some reputation of having these drawing classes and get some work out there. So this would be a great thing for the participants. The one thing that artists really need is exposure. You need to be seen, you need people to know and be aware that you're an artist, so an art exhibit is a great thing. We want to branch out to wider mediums such as painting, which we will do next week. Watercolors, pastels, even oil painting, which does take several years to dry, depending on how much you put on, but we can definitely try that. So I want to introduce new mediums, painting mediums. We want to do a paint night in Gwangju. So this has been successful in Toronto, and I want to emulate that at the GIC. So what happens is, it's an evening, everyone gets a canvas, wine, some hors d'oeuvres, snacks, and we just paint. Whether it's painting from an example or painting from your head, but it's a fun thing to do, Who knows what you can create with a little glass of wine. So it's a great way to do more art. I want to do drawing on site. So this is downtown. We are in a pretty big city. And I want to take my art classes outside and do some urban sketching. Especially it would be beautiful to do in the fall. And again, this is still life. This is real life. You're not drawing from something that's not moving. It's a little more difficult, but very fun and interesting. Where to find us? Great. So, we are on Facebook called Gwangju Drawing Class. I put up weekly updates and info about themed or nude classes, events. I share photos of the class and people's drawings. And yeah, your art, your drawings. So that was about the drawing class. This is about the GIC Kids Arts Camp that started last week. It's ages 9 to 12, so if you have a kid, bring them on down, It's every Saturday, 10:30 to 11:30. It usually runs until 12, but it's a 7-week program. So I have specifically designed projects for 7 weeks. We take a week break, and then it's another 7 weeks of different art projects. And the price is 100,000 won for non-members and 70,000 won for GIC members. So, some last words. This is, you know who that is, Picasso. He said, every child is an artist. The problem is staying an artist when you grow up, which is very true. You know, children are very creative. They have a loose mind that explores the unexplorable. And when we grow up, we are taught to think in black and white. We are taught in a linear way, which is not the way to go. We need more creative people in this society. We're not machines anymore. We need creative solutions for the issues we have in this world right now. And I encourage, parents to put kids into art. And art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. To explain this, it means that every day we live a routine life. We wake up, we go to work, we work 8 to 9 hours, we come home, we eat, we sleep. Every day is the same. And art washes away this dust of routine. Art is new. Art explores different aspects of life. Art is questionable. So that's why it could brighten this, it could brighten your life a little bit. This is personally for me. We are intended to create. The point of our life here is to leave something we have created behind that hopefully benefits others. You may be here for a limited time. We all know that. But your art is innovative, personal, and eternal. Look at these famous artists, that have passed away, but they're remembered. They're in history books because they have left something influential behind. They have left something life-changing behind. So I think art is an amazing way to do that. So join me at Gwangju Art Community.